Hello, and welcome to another edition of Rail Rangers on the Road. The Midwest Rail Rangers, our 501c3 nonprofit organization, presents onboard educational programs across the Midwest. You may have caught us on the South Shoreline, between Chicago and South Bend, Indiana, aboard the Sky Parlor car at the Wisconsin Great Northern, on an Amtrak charter organized by the 20th Century Railroad Club of Chicago, on private rail excursions featuring heritage equipment, and at various outreach events such as Trainfest and Mad City Rail. In March of 2020, the coronavirus sidelined most of our programs. After taking a few months off, we returned with virtual programs, taking you to exciting rail destinations across Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, and Wisconsin. With 2021 now here, we hope to begin the transition back to doing in-person programs. During the months ahead, though, we will continue to bring you new virtual programs as well. So sit back and relax and enjoy another edition of Rail Rangers on the Road. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another virtual program with the Midwest Rail Rangers and our friends at TrainWeb and the 20th Century Railroad of Chicago. I am Robert Tabern, your president of the Midwest Rail Rangers, and we are here. It is Sunday, May 9th, 2021, and first, hope you guys had a great Mother's Day today. Whatever you did out and about, maybe you included some railroading in your plans. That would be great. But happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there who are watching us today on Mother's Day here in 2021. So we have a special treat for you today. We are coming to you live. It's just after about 7:03 p.m. right now. We are coming to you live from St. Cloud, Minnesota. And we have a special treat for you. We are going to be visiting not one, not two, but three places for you tonight before the sun goes down. We're going to take a look at the three Minnesota depots north of Minneapolis-St. Paul along the current Empire Builder line. So we are here in St. Cloud. I'm here in St. Cloud. And we have Candace, who is live. She'll be live up the road in Staples, about an hour north of here. And then we both pre-recorded a bit in Detroit Lakes that will be airing for you. So, since we are live, coming to you live from St. Cloud, Minnesota, we will start here at the depot. And we'll go ahead and take a look at kind of the area here. We want to get this in before the sun goes down, and we also have to get to Candace, who's standing by, again, like I said, at Staples for you. So the depot here that you're looking at was built by the Northern Pacific Railroad in 1909 for the cost of $30,000, of course, back in the day. It replaced a earlier 1880s wooden depot that was subsequently moved closer to the new building and converted into a freight house. While constructing the station, the railroad also erected an interlocking tower to oversee the crossing of the Northern Pacific and the Great Northern Railroad. Of course, the Great Northern, which was the original route of the Empire Builder, took a slightly different route. So all the three depots that we are looking at, again, here in St. Cloud, Staples, and Detroit Lakes, are all going to be Northern Pacific depots and not Great Northern, because Amtrak chose to use the Northern Pacific routing and not the Great Northern routing. So if you're curious, you're like, well, Empire Builder, Great Northern. Well, no, not between here and Fargo. Further west, yes, Great Northern, but Amtrak chose to use the Northern Pacific route. Anyway, the depot consists of a 1.5-story central block flanked by 1-story recessed wings to the north and the south. Walls of brown pressed brick are accented with gray granite used for the foundation, water table, and coping along the east and cross gables. The circumventular gables, crowned with the demi-lune caps, suggest a Flemish or Jacobin revival aesthetics. Now, trackside, a projecting 3-sided bay with windows allowed the station master to survey traffic up and down the railroad line. I'm presuming, if you look here, that there were more tracks at one time that probably came closer. And I don't know that for a fact, but I presume that there were more tracks in this area at one time or another, because usually there's not this big gap between the window I was just talking about and the tracks there. Let's go ahead and take a look inside here, and then we'll come back out. And we'll come on inside here, and we gotta be safe. So we're gonna take a look inside the station here. And there we go. So taking a look here inside the station, the building originally contained a general waiting area, men's and women's smoking area, waiting room, ticket office, and baggage room. Red and white terrazzo covered the floors. The walls had white enameled brick wainscot. These surfaces were not only elegant but also durable to clean, important factors in designing a busy public building. And you can see the beautiful insides of this depot here. As far as back as 1850, railroad promoters dreamed of lines crossing Minnesota that would connect it with its coast. Not much came of the discussions, although numerous lines were chartered and companies attempted to sell stock. The legislature authorized not less than 27 railroad companies between 1853 and 1857. In 1864, the U.S. Congress chartered the Northern Pacific Railroad to connect the Great Lakes regions with the Puget Sound and Washington Territory. It took about another 6 years and the powerful financial backing of Philadelphia financier J. Cook before ground was broken west of Duluth at Thompson Junction. Once stoked, momentum pushed the Northern Pacific track laying teams from east to west until the 2,800-mile main line across the northern United States was finished in 1883. Former United States President Ulysses S. Grant drove in the final golden spike. Now, Amtrak does not provide ticketing or baggage service here at the St. Cloud station, which is serviced by 2 trains daily, but a caretaker opens and closes the station. You can see they have a nice waiting area here. They have posters of some of the different Amtrak lines, the California Zephyr and the Southwest Chief, of course the Empire Builder, which the westbound stops here after midnight, and then the eastbound, if it's on time, stops just after 5 o'clock in the morning. Of course, one of my favorite trains, the Coast Starlight, and then Capital Limited, City of New Orleans, and Texas Eagle. And you can see where the ticket window used to be back in the day. Now this is also, we want to mention, this is also a crew base. They do switch conductors and engineers here. The eastbound train, the conductors get on from Minot, North Dakota, and the westbound, the crews get from Winona, Minnesota, will get off here. So if you're going west, you'll get your second set of crew at Winona, they'll ride here, and then your Minot-based crew, your overnight crew, will get on the train here, and vice versa if you go to the east. So we'll just kind of take you for next to the inside here a little bit. We'll take you outside. I'll just kind of show you this side, and then we'll wrap back around to the other side. Again, beautiful architecture here. Take my mask off there so you can see a little bit better. And you can see it really was a beautiful station. It is a beautiful station. And this is kind of the crew base area. And we mentioned how the conductors switch out here. But you can see the old baggage store here that would have been used by the Northern Pacific. And if you kind of look back that way, kind of see the... And they have a nice parking lot here. So, you know, there's another tip for you. They have free parking. So if you think about getting on Amtrak or the Empire Builder in the Twin Cities, you know, where they might charge $10, $15 a day for parking, you just drive up the road an hour or some to St. Cloud, free parking. So think about that when you're planning your next trip, especially if you're going to be gone for a week or two on the Empire Builder. You know, just drive an hour away to St. Cloud here. So we're back around to the side of the station where we started. We'll take a look up and down the track. See if we have anything coming. As you can see, most of the route is. This is a double track through here. And there you get, if you look back at the station now with the sunset going on, you can see up on the top they still have the original one of the older Amtrak style there. And signal doesn't look like anything's coming. But let's walk around here. You can see they have the handicap ramp there. And here you get a really beautiful view of what the station looks like. You can see the baggage door, which we showed you just the other side of a few minutes ago, and then the crew office, which has the bars on the windows now, and that's still the active crew base. And then the passenger side again, because we have the two separate waiting areas. So we mentioned the men's and the women's. So really not all that much has changed since 1909 when the station was built. Here in 2021, boy, it would be celebrating its 112th birthday. So happy 112th birthday to the St. Cloud station. So hope you enjoyed this little tour here, and you can see the timetable here. I want to give you the exact times that the train comes through here. I'm delaying because I'm hoping that something will come through, but I don't know. We have the timetable here, and there we are in St. Cloud. So going westbound, 12:24 in the morning is the current schedule this year, and then 5:19 in the morning. So we are now going to go about 70 miles up the road, and you see the three stations. We're here in St. Cloud. Station before us is St. Paul, and we're going to be visiting Staples, where Candace is standing by, and then Detroit Lakes. So those are kind of the overnight stations, and that's kind of the reason why we decided to do this. Is a lot of people who are just traveling on the train don't get to see these three stations because it's either going in the middle of the night. So we thought that we'd give you the tour of these three historic depots that are actually overnight. Anyway, so I'm hearing we're going to wrap up here in St. Cloud, and we are going to toss it up the road. I believe Candace is standing by live right now. It's about 7:15. She's standing by live right now in Staples. Hey, Candace.
Well, thanks, Robert. We're here in Staples, Minnesota at the depot here. It's nestled between Highway 10 and the BNSF main line. As Robert mentioned, we are touring 3 of the depots north of Minneapolis-St. Paul, and we'll give you a tour of this one. Constructed by the Northern Pacific Railroad Company, the building shares design characteristics with the other depots built by the railroad during the early 20th century. However, it is larger than those found in the neighboring towns because Staples served as an NP division point, or the Northern Pacific, which means they needed office space for the railroad employees. Amtrak passengers use the waiting room here, and the Chamber of Commerce moved in the mid-2012 and renovated the ticket office. We've got some track work going on here, so it's quite a treat for you guys. Alright, now that he's passed and you'll be able to hear me a little bit better again. This depot opened in 1910. The 2-story brick depot sports a restrained classical revival style of architecture and was built to replace the earlier wooden building. The buff cream-colored pressed bricks give the depot a warm glow that is accentuated at twilight by the sun setting. Stone trim and the complementary gray tones encircle the building at the water table and at the level of the first window seals. The ground floor contains a waiting room, ticket office, restroom, and baggage and parcel express room. From the outside, these spaces can be easily identified by the size and placement of the windows. Passenger areas on the west side of the building are marked by large, wide windows with decorative multi-lights that allows ample sunlight to the floor of the interior. Dark wooden trim accents the panels of the windows and the doors. So you'll notice when we get to like the express part of the depot, or where the baggage was, there's small windows at the top. If you can kind of see the small windows here. But they did that in the baggage area to not only to give light, but also to deter thieves from being able to see inside the baggage area. We'll let you watch a little bit more of the cleaning up of the tracks there, just for a few minutes. In 1985, the Staples Depot here was placed on the National Registry of Historic Places. By the late 20th century, the BNSF, which had assumed ownership of the former property, no longer used much of the building. So in 2000, the negotiations began with the city, and the sale was final in February of 2008, and the depot is now owned and managed by the Staples Historical Society. In 2009, in the summer, they replaced the roof for approximately $200,000. Volunteers from the Historical Society and the former Staples mayor have been systematically rehabilitating the original double-hung sash windows, which number for over 4 dozen of them. You can adopt a window, which I believe there are still some available, and you can help restore these windows by giving a donation by adopting that window. As far back as 1850, railroad promoters dreamed of a line crossing Minnesota that would connect to the coast. Not much came of the discussion, although numerous lines were chartered and the company attempted to sell stock. Well, that's where that big financial backer from Philadelphia that Robert mentioned at the St. Cloud Depot, Jay Cook, he came in again and donated money for this depot and the railroad line here. Located in Crow Wings River Valley, Staples was founded in the mid-1880s as a lumbering town to take advantage of the extensive stands of red and white pine trees. Although known as a railroad town, Staples was a minor stop on the main line until 1889, when the NP built a cutoff designed to shorten the St. Paul Fargo route. The south end of the cutoff split from the existing track at Little Falls, and the north end met the original line at Staples. Staples' rich history and ties to the railroad are celebrated annually during the summer railroad days. The event includes a 5K walk and run to raise money for local charities. There's a parade, kids' activities, and plenty of good food. And at night, fireworks paint the sky with vivid colors. Amtrak does not provide ticketing or baggage service at this station, but there are 2 trains that service this station twice a day. So, hopefully, I'm gonna try, see if the door's open. Maybe we can go take a look inside. But I gotta have my mask. All right, so let's try to go inside. Maybe it'll be open for us today. There you go. So here's the beautiful ticket office that would have been. Now this is the Chamber of Commerce office. There's lots of old photos here. The old roundhouse here in Staples. And here's a picture of the World War I Red Cross canteen workers that were here. Such a beautiful station here in Staples, Minnesota. The nice white brick like the other station. If you notice, you're starting to notice a pattern with these depots. They all have this. There's quite an echo in here too. There's a picture of the tower. The switching tower here. And then you get a water tower. Let's see what's over here. Northern Pacific Safe. This is pretty cool. It says this is over 100 years old. That's pretty cool. I wonder if we could crack open the safe. Maybe not. Well, here is the actual diagram of all the windows in this building that they're trying to replace, with the names of the people that actually sponsor those particular windows. Looks like there's still some available. So like 38 on the end down there. Oh no, there's a name there. Maybe they finally have all the windows sponsored. It looks like they do finally. Oh, 4 memorial windows. They're $500 each, which is not bad if you divide that by 12. There's a phone number here. You can contact Tom. His number is 218-894-2906 for a sponsorship. There's a closer picture of the roundhouse there. And another one here. I just love these old stations and the way that people are trying to preserve them and keep them for more and more people to come. You got Highway 10 out the window here. We have First International Bank and Trust there. I have a book here with photographs in it that you can borrow while you're here in the depot. Looks like it gives a little bit more detailed time. And there's a pretty, oh, that shot is beautiful. You can really see where the brick used to be between the tracks. That's not there anymore. That's unfortunate. Old luggage cart. We got another safe here. The McCaskey Safe Registry. Let's see if there's a date on it. 1914. That's pretty cool. It says this luggage cart was used in 1890 to 1960. So right there. That's pretty awesome. Let's see what time we would have to be in Staples. All right, so it says here, if you were to get on the train here, 1:26 a.m. going west, 4:14 a.m. going east. Wow, that's early. I would definitely be asleep. So it looks like another building from around here. They have a museum in here. Robert and I got a chance a couple months ago, or last year, I'm sorry, to go through that museum. It was pretty neat. There's an old barber's chair in there. Beautiful painting up above here on the wall. That was donated to this location. Got some seating here for you to sit. Still have the old radiators. That's pretty cool. Magazines for people to enjoy while they're here. All right, well, we're going to head back outside. Maybe we'll take a quick walk around the building so you can see the full exterior of the building. We'll take off our masks now because we're back outside. You can get close enough, you can kind of see the museum in here. Need some bricks, anyone? There's plenty here. So let's take a walk around the outside and then we're going to pass it to Robert, who's standing by in Detroit Lakes. For those rail fans that have quilting wives, here's your quilting pattern. And here's that marker for the National Historic Register of Historic Places that I mentioned. And baggage door behind the quilt thing. See the small windows up at the top? Still enough to provide light for them to see, but also deter those thieves from being able to see in, to go in and see what might be in there that they could steal. Lots of renovations still going on to this beautiful depot. So we're going to wrap it up here, and we're going to head it over to Robert, who's standing by in Detroit Lakes. So here you are, Robert. One.
All right, thanks a lot, Candace. Interesting look at the Staples Depot. Now we're here at our third and last depot, which is, see, Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. We are in the far northwest territory of where the Rail Rangers do our programs. We're just about, 40 miles or so to the east of Fargo, North Dakota. And this is the last stop for the westbound Empire Builder in the state of Minnesota. The first one being Winona, which we showed you way back in, we did a program there, I believe, in August of last year. So yeah, we're hitting the depots of Minnesota, and we are here in the town of Detroit Lakes. The depot over here behind me, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. The station was renovated about 11 years ago in 2010. The design work upgraded the facility for the 21st century while respecting the historic character. The depot was originally constructed by the Northern Pacific Railroad. And again, if you notice, the theme is we are traveling along the Northern Pacific. The Great Northern took a slightly southern route between the Twin Cities and Fargo. Amtrak decided to use the Northern Pacific route for its Empire Builder. But this was constructed by the Northern Pacific in 1907 to 1908, according to designs by John Skoglund, an architect who worked on various projects for the company. As you saw just a few minutes ago, Candace said Staples. That was a two-story depot, but this is, of course, a one-story station, much like we first saw when I came to you from St. Cloud earlier this evening here. This one-story station sits relatively low to the ground compared to the other two, and has a rusticated gray concrete block foundation topped with a cut stone water table, upon which rise walls of buff brick. A molded convex brick cornice elegantly completes the transition from the exterior walls to the roof. The building arrangement includes a central portion marked by a pitched roof. Prominent end gables are crowned by parapets with demi-lune caps that lightly reference a Flemish or Jacobean revival aesthetics. The end gables also assist the eye as it shifts through the two flankings, and I'll walk around and show you that here. Well, you can kind of see it there off the top. Trackside, a gable with a semicircular window and parapet breaks the roof line. All of the gables with parapets finished with stone coping adds a strong vertical element to an otherwise horizontal architectural composition. And do you think they caught up with us? Because we have another track cleaning equipment here, much like we saw just where did we see that?
Staples.
Staples. Doing a lot of track work today. Let's walk down here so you can hear me a little bit better. we're here. The east wing provides an open air sitting area that adjoins the waiting room. At summer high temperatures, well, we're in northern Minnesota. It's in the summer, which will be, well, I guess in just about 6 weeks it'll be the summertime already. Highs can reach into the 80s. The porch becomes very popular with travelers wishing to catch a gentle breeze. Brick columns support the porch roof and feature egg and dart molding. The west wing is the former freight storage area, indicated by heavy wood doors that open onto the platform and the secure metal bars over the windows. According to old photographs, the exterior of the station has not undergone really any serious modifications. It was more just the interior. Oh look, it's moving again. You know they're watching that, they're not really watching you.
Well, I'll get out of the way so they can actually see it.
There you go, they'd rather watch that than you. No offense. It's just the awful truth. Yeah. Anyway. There you go.
Well, I finally got joined up with you. I caught up with you finally.
We're here, almost in North Dakota.
So we're here in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota together. So
yeah? Pre-taped. This part is pre-taped.
Yes, of course.
We did this before we did the live portions that you just saw. So.
Alright, so I'm going to take you inside. Hopefully the door's unlocked.
That'd be funny if it wasn't. I would laugh at you.
Well, if it's not, I'll still tell you about the unique features of the inside of the building.
Oh, alright.
Well, that door is locked. So, I get to take my mask off unless the other side's unlocked, and then we'll go in and show you.
It looks like it's all being renovated or something, but we can see it very well inside, so why don't you tell people about it?
Alright. The central waiting room showcases gracious 18-foot ceilings that create the feeling of relaxed airiness. A perfect introduction to the city, famous for its beautiful natural spaces and resort hotels. According to the original plans, the interior arrangement of the depot's central section was typical of its time, in that it provided space for the ladies' waiting room as well as the men's smoking room. The baggage room was located on the west side and had a large door leading to both the tracks and the street. Whereas the waiting room had a handsome bird's eye maple floor. Does it still have that maple floor today?
I think so. I'm not a wood expert, but we'll just say yes, sure. Why not?
The more utilitarian baggage room was laid with oak flooring. The interior walls have a section of 5-foot-high wainscot white enameled tile.
You can see that you showed people that in you showed everybody that in
Staples.
In Staples.
Yeah, so that's a common thing through these depots that they built. In recognition of its important role in the community's history and a strong integrity of its histories, the depot was placed on the National Registry of Historic Places in 1988. So that's 2 of the 3 depots that are on the registry. The recent renovation was completed under the direction of the local White Earth Reservation and the Minnesota Department of Transportation. The exterior brickwork was cleaned and the wood soffits below the eaves were repaired. All the wood trim around the depot was painted in a bright turquoise color that would brighten any winter day. Yeah,
so we get a lot of snow up here, that's for sure. I'm glad it's the spring now here. Mother's Day of 2021. So we're done, no more snow. We've had a long winter. We're glad to be here now with you.
An interesting design move took place in the former freight room. The wide door leading to the platform in the street were relocated to the interior room of the large panels, and glass was inserted in the doors openings. This allowed an ample room for natural light while preserving the original wood freight doors.
Yeah.
Which now act more like a screen that slide from the freestanding door frames.
Yeah, well, why don't we walk around to the other side of the depot, and I'll tell people a little bit more about Detroit Lakes.
Let me put my glasses back on.
Yeah, all right. I'll tell you a little bit about the history as we walk around here. And we pointed out it's kind of cool. All three depots are not only along the tracks that you see here. See, they have a gate out to the tracks, which is open. Not only is St. Cloud, Staples, and Detroit Lakes along what is now BNSF, and it's also still along Highway 10. I know Candace pointed out Highway 10 to you. And roughly follows the tracks several hundred miles between the three depots that we showed you tonight. Well, let's walk back around. We'll get a little bit of view of the front.
I have something fun to add.
What's that?
Look at the bricks.
The Burlington. And where did we learn that? We learned that back in...
Let's see if anybody watching from our earlier episodes, if they remember. So, a little trivia.
Well,
where
we'll
were the Burlington bricks made?
We'll give you a hint. We'll give you a hint where you saw that. When was that? Back in, I think, September or August of last year. We did one of our virtual programs from Mount Pleasant, Iowa, with Ron, the station caretaker. We haven't watched that one.
Yeah.
Should we tell them, or should we make them watch?
Let's finish, and maybe at the end we'll give the answer.
All right. Or you can stop over there and watch. It's kind of neat. The station hours, which is kind of unique, is midnight to 8 a.m. And that's because the trains come overnight. So this is an overnight job. And, well, there's your answer. Because of the virus, waiting room is closed. So, there you go. That's why we couldn't get in there. It's kind of interesting. You know, as we've noticed now, we've been dealing with the virus for over a year, how each station in each city has their own thing going on. Some lobbies are open, some are closed. But we're right here in downtown again, Highway 10. Through here. And go out to the front of the depot. And while we're looking up at the front of the depot, I'll tell you a little history of the community here. Candace mentioned the Indian Reservation, which we're going to head through onto we have one final stop for you, and we're going to head through the Indian Reservation. So as early as 1867, the United States government established a White Earth Indian Reservation north of here, Detroit Lakes. It was named for the layer of white clay found beneath the surface of the soil in western portions of the designated reservation. Many of Minnesota Territory's American Indian groups were forced into moving to White Earth, or coerced, including the territory's Ojibwa and Lakota bands. Today, many of their descendants identify as Shinabi instead of Ojibwa or Chippewa. Early settler Melvin Tyler built a log cabin along the Pelican River north of the tracks in 1870. The area was along the international Red River ox cart trade routes, which connected the Red River Colony in Manitoba, Canada, with the Mississippi River at Mendota and St. Paul. Furs and other goods produced in the interior moved over the trails and down the Mississippi River to distant markets. By 1871, the young community of Tylertown found itself along the routes of the Northern Pacific as it moved west through Minnesota's Lake Country, which we're in. The railroad also signaled the decline of the ox cart trails. The arrival of the railroad made Tyler's cabin the center of the community, and its subsequent hotel acted as a hotel and a post office. With the railroad came George Johnson, who purchased land on the south side of the tracks and called it Detroit, much like the city of Michigan. According to a local story, a traveling French Catholic priest camped along the lake near the new town and thought that when the sun shone on the body of water, it resembled a Detroit, which is a word for straight. The name stuck, and Johnson used it for his new settlement. By 1880, most of the residents had migrated from Tylertown to the new area to be closer to the tracks and the lake itself. The Northern Pacific also sponsored a group of settlers from New England who moved west and began settling in Detroit and the surrounding countryside in 1872. Do you have one more bit of information to share with everybody?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of information that I would like to share. It's been great to show you these three depots in Minnesota. I hope you guys are enjoying our virtual tours that we're offering to you. Even though, you know, sometimes we can't be together in person, we still like to bring you interesting facts, and we love to tell you about things that you wouldn't see along the way. Along with the first depot, the quick growth of the town encouraged the railroad to build a grain warehouse and roundhouse north of the present depot. The first industry here in Detroit was tied to the Northern Pacific. It was the Fargo Detroit Ice Company. They cut and prepared ice and bottled Pogammon spring water for the railroad dining car. It wasn't until 1926 that the townspeople voted to rename their municipality Detroit Lakes. Many residents were tired of their mail and their parcels being sent to the bigger and better known Detroit to the east.
Yeah.
Private homes and resort hotels like the Grand Hotel Minnesota began to line the shores of the lake and bleed into the forest landscape. To further facilitate the long-term tourism, developers constructed a series of canals and locks that eventually connected Lake Detroit to the other lakes in the region. In addition to trips to experience the best of nature, visitors also flock to Detroit Lake in July for the 10,000 Lakes Festival.
I did 10,000.
A large 3-day concert that draws major acts and tens of thousands of music lovers. About a month later, the city hosts We Fest, a country music festival that again attracts top talent.
Nice.
A tent city springs up overnight to accommodate 50,000 plus fans who come from far and wide to enjoy the multi-day event. Unfortunately, Amtrak does not provide ticketing or baggage service here at Detroit Lakes, but it also services that twice-a-day train known as the Empire Builder. Located an hour north of Detroit Lakes is Lake Itasca, the start of the Mississippi River. At this point, we're 600 feet from that spot, and we'll take you there now.
All right. We are walking on the trail here, and we thought we'd show you one of the really cool spots if you're ever up and want to take the train. It's just over an hour drive we did?
Yeah, about an hour. Not too bad.
And people will be amazed, you know, picture the Mississippi River in Illinois, Iowa. Imagine how wide the Mississippi River is. Look at that. Literally.
You can walk across here if you'd like.
Maybe a little up, but there it is. That is the Mississippi River as it starts.
Well, we'll take you a little further down on the trail so you can actually see where it goes into Lake Itasca.
But that's pretty much how wide and deep. You can see the bottom. No barges coming through. Do you see any barges going down the river?
No, just some fish.
You see fish? Did you? You want to go across it?
I don't feel like taking my shoes and socks off today, but...
Oh, how about at that little bridge up here?
I'll cross it up here for
Will
you.
you? Okay. We've gone from the tracks to the road to the trails now. Maybe this is trails and rails. There you go.
450 feet from this point.
Okay.
We have a plaque here that describes the search for the Mississippi source. It tells you about the explorers that came up Lake Itasca in 1832. They were sent by the United States government to help negotiate a treaty between the Dakotas, and the Ojibwa.
Nice. This is our third time here.
I think so.
It's kind of fun. Kind of a fun state park to visit and kind of say, I've seen the Mississippi where it starts as a little tiny trickle. Because I always, before I came here, you know, growing up in Chicago, probably a lot of our viewers are in Chicago or Milwaukee. I think the Mississippi River is some huge river, which it is for most of its course. But here's just a tiny little trickle. So if you never get the chance to come up here, it's pretty cool. And of course it's May 9th. So a lot of people are starting to come out for Mother's Day, I guess, today. Have a lot of people out here. We'll see how adventurous Candace gets here, which bridge she picks to cross. Not gonna take your shoes off?
No.
You don't want to show people your fuggly feet?
I don't have ugly feet.
I said fuggly.
I don't have ugly feet.
All right, well here we are.
Well, here's where it all starts.
The Mississippi River.
The Mississippi River.
Well, why don't we go down there? So over here, this is Lake Itasca. This is Lake Itasca, so it's a lake, obviously. Got some canoeists out there already. Water must be cold. It's only the beginning of May.
Got some swimmers. Lots of people swimming.
Yeah, so there's the lake. And you can see I guess where the rocks are, that's the end of the lake and the start of the Mississippi River. So where you see the waterfall there, kind of water going over the rocks, that differentiates Lake Itasca and then the Mississippi River.
Very cool.
So there you are. And there's the bridge. Down there, you can walk across the bridge.
We'll take you down there and we'll maybe walk across.
Yeah? You want to go down there and walk across? Alright, let's try.
Don't you take your hat so I can see
You wanna do it, or you want me to?
You can try.
You gonna do it? Alright. So there's another good view. You can see where the lake ends and the river begins.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you gonna go?
Yep, I'm gonna wait my turn to cross the Mississippi River.
Okay, there's the first. That is literally, because there's where it starts. And this is literally the first bridge over the Mississippi River. So we're waiting to walk across it here. Alright, I think it's your turn. And don't fall in. No pressure. You did it! You walked across the Mississippi. Look at that. You deserve a certificate or something for
I
that.
crossed the Mississippi River or something?
Yeah.
Let's head down in this little cove over there.
Alright. That's a good socially distanced view. You could really see the There's where the river starts. So, good place to visit. Get to show everybody the walk and where the Mississippi River begins.
So I have a fun question for you, Robert.
Okay.
So, if and no funny comments, was a drop of rain,
Yeah.
and I fell in Lake Itasca, right here where the Mississippi River starts.
Alright, alright.
A drop of rain.
Mm-hmm.
How long would it take me to get to New Orleans where the Mississippi River empties into the ocean?
Well, how much do you weigh? That would factor into the equation.
I said I was a raindrop.
So you'd weigh what a raindrop would weigh.
Correct.
Okay. I don't know. 3 years? 4 years?
Nope. Try again.
7 years?
Nope. Just 90 days. So 3 months.
From
start?
From right here if rain fell.
From start to
finish.
All
Wow.
right, so thank you for joining us. We'll try to throw up some more fun facts, and we'll join you next time. So thanks for joining us. Like always, we appreciate everyone watching. If you have questions, please put them in the box. I think I'm pointing the right way. And we'll try to answer them as quick as possible for you. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Mississippi.